Dude, it's gonna be okay.
It's not gonna be okay.
I understand.
How could you understand? You don't have kids. You're not a father. You're never gonna have to face this day. Where did you get these? Who did you get these from? Who taught you how to watch these?
From you, Dad! I learned it from you!
Damn it, James.
You had to learn sooner or later.
Wanna go watch Samurai Cop?
Hell yeah.
Do you like fun and adventure? Then sit back and enjoy the Brothers Not Lovers as they discuss all things movies. What's overrated or underrated? What makes you go really? Or how dare you? Or even just simply how funny this movie can be. You have the insightful, intuitive Davey, who is awesome. And you have the film bestie, Josh. He's there.
Hi, I'm Davey. I'm awesome. And this is Josh, the film bestie. And what's the matter? Dude, come on. Come on. You cannot still be mad about the cake. Where's your fun hat? What's with this beanie?
Fun? Fun? There is no fun bestie anymore. My heart is broken. I am now the lost... Dude! I am now lost soul bestie. I have no brother. I have no Harold. And he's still standing there. What are you doing? Get out of here.
Sorry.
That's my life. And now I can't see anything in this dark. Turn the light back on, boy.
Fine. Where's your fun hat?
Let's just do this movie review. Or is that a hand-me-down as well?
And this is the Brothers Not Lovers movie review. And yesterday was Friday the 13th again. And we were still too afraid to review a Friday the 13th movie on Friday the 13th.
So instead, we're going to finally review Samurai Cop.
We reviewed that over a year ago.
My life has no meaning.
But before we get started, Josh, I do gotta say, for once, I have to compliment you on your fashion sense. Particularly your slippers.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Just always, never forget to check your references.
So last Saturday the 14th, we did Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
That's what's messed up. I feel like we already did the first one.
We didn't. We skipped 1 through 7 because you threw a little fit, remember?
Wait, we didn't review the other... Who did I review those with?
I think you were just drunk and did it in your closet like you always do. This movie was released in 1980, and it was directed and produced by Sean S. Cunningham.
Written by Victor Miller.
Made by Georgetown Productions, Inc.
Distributed by Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the original, the one that started it all, Friday the 13th.
You're such a baby being afraid to do these actually on Friday.
Dude, you were the one that asked me, please let's do them on Saturday.
That's a joke.
You cried.
Your son was wearing a hockey mask.
So before we begin, last time we started with his favorite Friday the 13th movie because he threw a fit. This one is my favorite Friday the 13th movie.
This is a movie about love and hate, passion and empathy. War and Peace is a tragic story of a man who is framed and executed for love, family, and country.
That's not this movie.
We're watching Schindler's List, right?
You are disgusting! The movie opens at Camp Crystal Lake in the year 1958. we see a couple of counselors retreating by themselves because, well, these two, they're about to, well, you know...
Get it on! Woo-wee!
Yeah.
We weren't doing anything. We were just messing around.
Yeah, well, that's not doing anything doesn't pay the bills.
They were doing something. That's why she killed him. And that's what you get for lying.
Oh my god. They killed her by freeze frame.
Now we go to present day.
Ooh, what'd you give me?
Not that kind of present.
Oh, I wanted rubber bands.
Not after last time.
Aw, I wanted toilet paper.
Definitely not after last time.
Can I at least have premarital sex like they did?
Sure.
They were entering each other!
That camp has been closed down because of the murders.
And... yeah, what he said.
And now they're reopening.
Yeah! Like he said.
21 years later.
Uh-huh.
Then we see Annie. She is the new cook for Camp Crystal Lake, and she is trying to see if there is a bus that will take her the rest of the way. There isn't, so a truck driver in the diner offers to give her a ride halfway there.
Okay, kid, let's move it.
Name's Annie.
Oh, wow, she's really getting into the cab with him. She's a total stranger.
This was 1979. People were a lot more trusting back then.
Yes, we were.
Okay? Well, how would you know how they were in 1979? You were born in 81.
But I died in 79 before I was born again. I trusted that man.
Okay, I'll bite. What was your name?
Starts with an H.
Was it Harold?
It was Harriet.
As they're leaving, they encounter a local named Ralph, and he has a message about Camp Crystal Lake.
It's got a death curse.
Thank you, Mr. Crazy Man.
Dude. That's my pastor. He preaches in my church.
On the way to the camp, the truck driver tells her about the murders in 58. The boy drowning in 57. And how every time in between then that they've tried to reopen this camp, something happens. Fires. Bad water.
The Kardashians. Stay tuned.
He drops Annie off at the halfway point, and we go to the camp where the owner Steve and his counselors are getting the place ready. Steve is talking to one of his counselors, Alice, who is saying that she doesn't know if this is working out and she needs to go back to California. Which, keep in mind, they're in New Jersey.
Give me another chance. Stay a week. I'll get the place ready.
Stay with a 30-something-year-old or go back to California.
Leave Jersey or go back to California. That's a toughie.
All right, Friday. I'll give it a week.
Ah, if you knew what was coming, yeah, you still wouldn't want to go back to California.
Steve goes into town while the others keep working, like Brenda, who's setting up the archery range.
Ta-da!
Are you crazy?
And Ned, who is goofing off.
You're beautiful when you're angry, sweetheart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. When they shoot off, it's cute. When I do it, there's a restraining order. Please drop the charges, Rubber Ashley. I'm sorry.
How would she... You know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Annie hitches a ride.
Hi. I'm going to Camp Crystal Lake.
Well, it looks like she's going to make it to camp just in time to cook dinner.
Dude.
No. That's not like a woman thing. She's the camp cook. She cooks for them. That's her job.
Yeah, but she's not barefoot or pregnant.
Dude.
What'd I say?
The driver passes the road they need to go down to get to Camp Crystal Lake.
I think we better stop.
I think that music means that Jaws is about to come out.
Oh, yeah. Camp Shark. Shark Camp. Shark Away Camp.
Why aren't we funding this? Annie jumps out of the Jeep.
I don't like where this is going. She's in danger. All Father, Odin, and Valhalla be with her.
Dude, this is stupid. First of all, you're not pagan. And second of all, why are you praying to the All-Father with a Fortnite medal? What?
You know you do this on purpose.
Do I?
That is Skyrim, man. And Skyrim is everything. Skyrim is my religion.
Skyrim, Fortnite, tomato.
Akatosh, forgive him.
Annie can't run very fast because she hurt her knee jumping out of the car. So when the driver catches up to her... Now I gotta admit, the first time I saw this, because of the way they started out building her up, I really thought she was gonna be the lead.
Wait, she's not the lead?
She just had her throat slit.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what about dinner?
Back at the camp, the counselors decide to stop working and have some fun.
Now, if you were a flavor of ice cream, what would it be?
Rock and roll.
Because you got chunks in you? Ned is drowning, so a couple of counselors, Jack, played by Kevin Bacon, and Brenda dive in to save him.
Bacon!
Soon as Brenda gives him some mouth-to-mouth...
Hurry up, Ned. Come on.
Oh, Nettie! You know what the meanest thing about that prank was? Is this was filmed in the middle of the fall. That water was freezing. Later in Alice's cabin, she sees a snake. So she calls for help, but they can't get the snake out.
Call him. How do you call a snake?
Like this. I'm a snake. I'm a study of snaky snake. Why don't you come over here and be a snaky snake with the snake? Finally, the snake comes out. That snake was 100% real.
So is its on-screen death.
This scene was actually last minute improvised. Wasn't in the original script. They just went into that cabin. There was a snake, and they decided to make the scene based around it.
Don't cancel Kevin Bacon.
Well, at least we know what's for dinner.
Yeah, but Annie's not going to cook it. In the kitchen, Alice is getting ready to make something for dinner.
So Annie's not going to make anything.
Well, dude, she's dead.
What? When?
You already forgot?
Forgot what?
The movie we're reviewing.
Maxi pads?
No, we're not reviewing Maxi. Why would we review Maxi pads?
Because I thought we were reviewing dress shields.
When Alice opens the pantry...
What's my pastor doing there? My pastor does that all the time.
This place is cursed. Cursed.
You know, you might have a better chance of convincing them if you had knocked on the front door instead of breaking in and hiding in the pantry for probably a couple of hours.
Hey, don't knock it, man. That's how I proposed to my rubber woman.
Then Ralph starts to sing. Wake me up before you...
Go. Go.
You're off tempo.
Dude, you know what this movie really needs?
Huh?
It's a really nice beaver shot. God, Sharon Stone is so hot.
Ned sees something.
Can I help you?
You can die. Jack and Marcy go off to get a little frisky. While Alice, Bill, played by Harry Crosby, Bing Crosby's son, and Brenda go to play a nice, wholesome game.
We're going to play strip Monopoly.
Can I be the banker?
No, you cannot. While Jack and Marcy are getting frisky... Good.
Dude. This is a Jason movie. Oh, he's the killer in this. You'll see.
After they finish, Marcy decides that she needs to go to the little girl's room. And Jack is all alone.
Well, that's what happens when you leave bacon out.
As far as Marcy... I need to axe how they did those effects. Brenda calls it a night.
Yeah, before anything good happens.
And she gets ready for bed, but once she lays down... So naturally, she goes to see who needs help.
Dang. Some kid wants to learn archery now, of all times.
Bill gets back from checking the generator, and Alice tells him that she heard a scream. Plus, the lights were on at the archery range. Bill says he'll check it out.
Bill? Can I come?
You know, it's refreshing that there are some girls that are actually willing to go die with the guy versus expecting him to go die all by himself.
Reese Witherspoon is so hot.
When they get to Brenda's cabin...
She must be with Jack and Marcy.
Sort of. With Jack and Marcy, yeah. In Brenda's bed, they find something. And now they've got an axe to grind.
This was Fortnite before Fortnite.
I thought you talked about Skyrim.
They're two different games.
Are they really, though?
Yes! One's addictive and one's stupid.
Yes, they're two different games. Just like Twix, the right and left are very different.
I hate you.
As Bill and Alice look for the other counselors to no avail...
Bill, I think we should call someone.
Who are you gonna call?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. No. No. No.
Ghostbusters!
I'm gonna kill both of you.
It's locked. Where's the key?
Try asking the Keymaster.
Really? Two Ghostbusters references back to back. They try to make a phone call. Don't you dare.
What?
Don't.
Jenny. 8605309, right?
That was years later.
And I'm the gatekeeper.
Damn thing's dead too.
Ah, so you and that phone have something in common.
With the Green Ranger and Harold Ramis.
Seems like somebody doesn't want anybody to leave.
Oh, you mean like Jason?
Who else would it be?
I don't know. Be a very aggressive timeshare salesman.
Okay.
Or Walter Peck.
I will kill you.
We'll be laughing about this tomorrow.
No, no, no. We'll be laughing about this tomorrow. Steve's Jeep had broken down, so a cop picked him up to drive him to Camp Crystal Lake. But now he's close enough to Crystal Lake, he's going to let Steve out because he's got a call he's got to go answer.
Oh, this explains why there are no cops around.
Very good, Josh.
Only Zool. I'll stop.
As Steve approaches the cabins...
What are you doing out in this mess?
Here with that mustache, he'd be delivering pizzas with extra large sausage to a bunch of sorority girls. The kind who can't pay. But he'll find a way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He'll find a way.
I think we get it, dude. The lights go out again, so Bill goes to check the generator again. Once the lights are back on, Alice decides to make herself a cup of Sanka. You remember Sanka?
I don't even remember what movie we're reviewing.
Friday the 13th.
Dude, we already reviewed this movie, all 13 of them.
You're so stupid. Alice gets tired of waiting, so she goes looking for Bill.
Sanka's gonna get cold.
I don't think she's worried about the Sanka too much. You got something in your eye. So instead, Alice runs back to the cabin and secures it as best she can, tying a rope around the door, barring all the windows and doors, pulls all the curtains.
What am I gonna do?
Well, on the plus side, you found Brenda.
But she ran away with Dylan.
Are you frickin' serious? But Alice looks outside and Steve's Jeep is pulling up. So she runs out to Steve. But it's not Steve.
How are you?
Well, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies.
Mrs. Voorhees is played by Betsy Palmer. The reason her Jeep looks exactly like Steve's is because it is the exact same Jeep.
Steve doesn't drive a Jeep in Stranger Things.
That came out like 30, 40 years later.
Dude, this is the 1980s. Duh.
Damn, you're stupid. The reason the two Jeeps look exactly the same is because they are exactly the same. They use the same Jeep to save money.
I do the same thing with tissue paper. Dude, I got it. Mrs. Voorhees. I'll bet she's related to Jason. The one from, Takes Manhattan. The one that had that psychic in it.
Maybe. It's possible. So Mrs. Voorhees goes inside to see what's going on.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, that glass gets everywhere. Mrs. Voorhees tells a story about a little boy who drowned to death the year before the two counselors in the beginning were killed. Those very same counselors were supposed to be watching the little boy, but they were too busy,
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
His name was Jason.
It's like the guy from Takes Manhattan.
Dude, you really do not put things together very well, do you?
Oh, duh, Cocteau. He was the one who let Simon Phoenix out.
Wrong movie review.
Dude, we should totally review that movie.
He wasn't a very good swimmer.
And according to Freddy vs. Jason, he still isn't.
Neither was Natalie Wood.
Dude!
Jason was my son.
Okay, if he was your son, first of all, was he the same guy from Jason X? And second, how many fingers am I holding up?
She explains because of what happened to her son, she could not let this camp reopen. And then she starts to freak out.
Look what you did to him!
Freaking out to the point that she doesn't realize that when her son Jason died, Alice would have been a fetus. Alice runs off and she finds...
Annie? Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay, Annie?
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay, Annie?
Dude, I think she's been hit by a smooth criminal.
She also finds... Steve, who's just hanging around.
With that mustache, I told you he was well hung.
He decided to hang in there.
Maybe we can all just hang out.
I don't know, the jury's out. They're a little hung.
She had him dangling on a string.
He was going to be an acrobat too.
You want to go hang from a tree, Stevie? His face hurts.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
Man, her mom's gotta be old. Like Denzel from Brickleberry would love her old. You're gonna have to do this by yourself, hon.
Alice fights off Mrs. Voorhees as best she can. Which, when you think about it, Mrs. Voorhees is very old. She should be able to fight her off pretty easy. Alice is young. But okay.
She's got the spirit of a little boy in her. Literally.
Alice runs off and hides in the pantry.
That is some damn good cocoa.
Now she's trapped in a closet. Although, I gotta wonder. Why is there a lock on the inside of the pantry? Mrs. Voorhees gets in with a machete!
Just like the guy. That guy from that movie. That Manhattan movie. The Final Nightmare. Jason 3.
Just stop. But it's okay. Alice has a skillet!
Is she gonna make us breakfast with it?
Annie won't. Alice goes outside and sits down because she's safe now.
Are you sure she's safe?
About as safe as Henry VIII's wives. Too soon?
Is that the right oar or the left oar?
Doesn't really matter. I mean, either or. They tussle a bit until... She lost her head!
That's no way to get ahead in life.
Too bad she wasn't more headstrong.
She was head of the class.
When she saw Alice, she went head over heels.
Okay!
Now that Mrs. Voorhees is dead, Alice goes for a peaceful roll on the canoe.
As you do? I don't know. Shouldn't she be calling the cops right now? All her dead friends are still in the cabin. Strewn about the property.
I agree.
And Kevin Bacon. Now is going to teach everyone to love dancing.
The police show up and they're yelling for Alice to row back in. Which I can understand. They definitely don't want her to row to New York or something like that.
Dude, don't even. Just don't.
I mean, apparently Camp Crystal Lake flows all the way to New York. Because that's possible.
Shut up.
But then...
Ah! It's Natalie Wood!
No, that is Jason, the little boy.
I'm pretty sure she looked like that by now.
Dude! But yes, that's the little boy who's dead and somehow is going to grow up, get revenge on his mother, then killed for a bunch of movies until he kind of goes away for a while and then is replaced by some ambulance driver. Then he'll come back and kill until he goes to New York and gets covered in toxic waste that turns him back into a little boy until he dies. But then he'll come back and unexplained how he came back, but he will come back and then die and go to hell, and then he'll come back and fight a guy who can fight in their dreams, and then he's going to go to space. Then they're going to completely MCU him and do a remake where they completely forget about his mother and just combine 3 movies into one, and then somehow he's going to fight against the Mortal Kombat universe.
Let's not forget about his sisters.
Huh?
Oh, there's the mixed race sister in Saved by the Bell, and then the one with the gorgeous boobies in, the number 5. Deborah Voorhees, Clark Voorhees. That family's freaking crazy.
Dude, those weren't his sisters. They were just actresses that happened to have the last name Voorhees.
They were still pretty maniacal. I mean, look what the poor girl did to Screech. He's dead now.
Alice awakes in the hospital, and they explained how they pulled her out of the water that she had fallen into, but she swears that she was pulled in by Jason. Of course, they tell her that there was no little boy in that lake.
Then he's still there.
Okay, now guys, being that she is the only survivor in that area, shouldn't she be a suspect? So there you have it. That's the original, the one that started it all, Friday the 13th. This movie was a tremendous success. It had a $550,000 budget and did $59.8 million in the box office. So it was a huge success. Despite the fact that when it came out, it mostly got really bad reviews. All the critics bashed it hard because of all the gore and violence and sexuality in the movie, but it didn't make a difference because it still did great despite all the bad reviews. One of its worst critics, which was one of the worst critics on pretty much every Jason movie, was Gene Siskel.
I did not like those guys.
No, especially because this is one thing that I get upset about with critics. Gene Siskel very rarely gave any horror movie any kind of a positive review. Clearly the guy just didn't like horror movies. If that's a genre of movie that you don't like, you really have no business reviewing it. You just need to admit that you're not its audience. And he went as so far and shady that in his review, which he did while Friday the 13th was still in theaters, he gave away the ending in his review.
He didn't.
Yes.
Oh.
Now I know some of you are going to be like, well, Davey, you give away the endings in all of your reviews. But every movie I review, you've had plenty of time to see.
Yeah. Except Samurai Cop, none of you had a chance to see that. Why'd you ruin that for everyone?
They've had 30 years to see Samurai Cop.
Dude, it only came out in the 90s, or 1990, dude.
And it's 2023.
Good God! Oh, dude. Mr. Goldberg's gonna be so mad. I was supposed to finish my term paper. Oh, I'm never gonna get out of junior high.
Betsy Palmer, who played Mrs. Voorhees, really did not want to do this movie. In many interviews, she had stated that if it wasn't for the fact that she desperately needed a new car, she would not have taken this role. She saw the script, she hated it, but later in life, before she died, she did warm up to this movie. Because despite the fact that she was a classically trained actress, had been doing a lot of stuff way before this movie came out, this is now what she is most known for, is Mrs. Voorhees.
She should be thankful. Because it could have easily been the Flying Nun who got known for this.
Very true. The role of Alice was originally offered to Sally Field.
And she wanted to know why? Why?
And then she turned it down. Then again, Adrienne King, when she was first offered the role of Alice, she didn't want it at all. But then she did later change her mind. She was a little iffy about all the graphic violence. Then later she did regret it, I guess, because she quit acting after this movie produced her a stalker.
I said I was sorry. I was just a child. I was 3 years old. I thought she was awesome.
But speaking of people who didn't want to be in this movie, the original role of Mrs. Voorhees wasn't actually offered to Betsy Palmer. It was offered to Estelle Parsons. She turned it down, and their next choice was Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer, though, in interviews did talk about she created her own backstory for Pamela Voorhees, where her husband left her, made her a single mom in the 50s, which was very taboo. To make you sympathize with the character, she basically backstory that this woman had worked really hard to get a job at this camp, which was great for her because her son could go play with other children while she got to work being a cook. And then her son, the only person she had in the world worth living for, dies. So it made you feel sympathetic towards the character. Although as far as that backstory goes, later in the comic books, they did an official backstory where Jason's father, Elias Voorhees, was very abusive to the point that Pamela Voorhees killed him. But then again, this doesn't hold up with the movies because in Jason Goes to Hell, clearly Jason's dad left the family and had children somewhere else, which is why Jason still has blood relatives out there. I don't know. It's all over the place, but you still do kind of feel a little bit for Pamela Voorhees, because even if you didn't know her backstory, you get it. 50s, that's her only child, he dies, she snapped. It was a very interesting and at the time very original story.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of its success was based on the fact that they took the teen aspect of the movie Meatballs, and the horror genre came from obviously the success of Halloween, kind of combined it, and now we have Friday the 13th. And in my opinion, one of the things that makes this the best of all the Friday the 13th movies is it had one ingredient that all the others did not have. It had bacon. Even though Kevin Bacon had done a couple of other films before this movie, this was actually the movie that really launched his career.
Thought that was Tremors.
Not even close. Of course, after this movie, Pamela Voorhees died. Jason comes in the next movie, and
dude, spoiler alert.
You've seen them all.
I have?
Yes.
Are we going to review the first one?
Jason is in all the other movies except for the 5th one, which will probably be the last one we review.
But there's like more than 5.
So we started on number 8 thanks to you.
Oh yeah. That was the best one.
I disagree. In my opinion, this was the best one because this one was the most original.
It didn't even have Jason till the end. And who was that weird lady that was killing everyone?
You have drunk yourself stupid. But whether or not this one is your favorite or not, you just kind of have to respect it for what it did. It launched a series of movies, some good, some bad, but ultimately all very, in their own ways, entertaining. So if you're like among the maybe 1% of people who has not actually seen Friday the 13th, then I recommend it's time you go out and see Friday the 13th. So there you have it. That's our movie review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when we post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Friday the 13th. Tell me which of the Friday the 13th movies is your favorite.
Yeah.
Love you guys.